Hey YouTube, it's Urgo, and we're on the road again, of course, because that's just what we do in these videos for some reason. It's like Movember with the growing the beard, no shave November, driving on autopilot at the moment here also. We're on the highway at the moment. I'll show you in a second, but first, before we get into things, I wanted to give you guys an update that yesterday, you know, the thing that, well, actually not really even just yesterday, but the last several days, I've not been able to sleep because I kept getting woken up in the middle of the night from Social Blade being down. The good news is, last night we did that database, basically we installed an old version of the software, and that looks like it worked. So sort of my initial hunch that it was the new version of MySQL that caused the problem, that's what it was. One of the things I'm a part of is this virtual reality meetup group because I'm trying to get into doing the 360 video. That sort of got delayed a little bit because we're actually letting a group that is from there that's doing this Wild Eyes video, going to all national parks around the country and filming there. They're using my camera rig right now, and basically I'm executive producer for that project, which is awesome. They're doing a great job on that. But anyway, through the meetup group, they're actually having a meetup at UNC today to let us take a look at the HTC Vive. If you haven't heard of that, you probably have heard of the Oculus Rift because I've done videos on it previously myself also. Anyway, the HTC Vive is HTC's version of an Oculus Rift, and from what I've heard, it's even more impressive in a lot of ways than the Oculus. So really excited to get a chance to try this out. The only other major one that I haven't had a chance to try yet was the Microsoft HoloLens, which I was really kind of mad that they had it out at Minecon, but they had only like such limited people that you had to win a ticket to check it out. I was kind of disappointed on that. Alright, not kind of. I was very disappointed on that I didn't get to. But I am excited that I get to try out the HTC Vive today. So as we're driving here, I just wanted to show you autopilot sort of in action on the highway, and we were talking about this before. It does detect, okay, sure, right now it's going to be showing me that it's unsafe. Okay, there we go. Well, the lines on the road here are not the most clear, so it's going in and out a little bit, but yeah, the blue lines means it's able to fully detect the lane. You can even see, since I'm, you know, in not the far right, but not the far left either, you can see it even, I don't know, it has lines on either side. Oh, someone just pulled in front of me, so it actually auto-adjusts the speed down too. So I have it set to 65, but it auto-adjusted it to 63 at that point because someone was right there. And then this is the coolest thing ever. Well, there's a lot of traffic, but yeah, check this out. I'm just going to press this button after that car goes by there. I'm gonna put my blinker on. I'm not gonna touch the wheel, and it's gonna change lanes for us. Watch this, check this out. That's pretty amazing. That's just, I don't know, that's the coolest thing ever, I think.
You've also got a trigger function, so if you were to hold your index finger or your middle finger behind the controller. Yep, those are your triggers. You've also got a grip, so if you were to squeeze the sides.
Yeah, you can swipe on them. They should dodge it. Holding your two hands.
Yeah.
Okay, look back at the cutting board behind you. Turn around. See those tomatoes?
Yes.
Reach for them. You see they light up blue. Click the trigger on the controller, and you can pull it up.
All right, last one is called action.
Now you want to put all that stuff into the pan to your right.
I just got out of the demo of the HTC Vive, and I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with their system there. This is, as I think I said, the third virtual reality system that I've used now of the major ones that are coming out. Well, sort of second. So the ones I've used are the Oculus Rift. I've used DevKit 1. I haven't actually used the DevKit 2. I've used the Samsung VR, which is basically an Oculus. It's the same software and whatnot. It just plugs the phone in. Actually, I guess I have used 3. I've used Google Cardboard also, which is Google's version that also uses my phone. The HTC Vive is similar to the Oculus in that it's, you know, its own environment or headset that gets put on and gets plugged into a computer. The one difference with the Vive compared to the other ones I've used so far is the Vive has also these little light boxes and paddles that you hold for controlling things. And the paddles and the light, I really liked it. Being able to use the paddles just gave you a lot more that you could do in there and interact with things rather than on, for example, the Samsung VR or the cardboard. I'm just tapping the side of my head here. When I was using the Oculus, I was using the keyboard still at that point there. I know with the Samsung VR you can use a controller also, but it was out of stock when I ordered it and never came back in stock basically, so I never had a chance to try that out. Anyway, with the Vive, I'd say that the graphics are at least comparable to the dev kit one that I used for Oculus. I'm not sure if sort of the shipping version of the Oculus, I think it might have higher graphics, but being able to do all the other things in this environment was really cool. So they gave you a couple of different games that you could play. The first one was sort of actually, it was the same game as I have played on the Samsung VR. It was The Blue was called, and it was a different version of it, but the same concept where you basically are you're underwater on a ship in this one, and you see fish and whales and stuff swimming by, which is cool. It gives people a quick view of the environment. Then it went into a couple other ones. There's a couple that were interesting. So one was this, you were in like a big black room, just like completely dark, and your two paddles that you had acted as paintbrush and canvas. So you like turn this hand around to select different things on the canvas, and you just like point to the one you want on there. And then you could like do this whole 3D painting. And I think once you sort of combine that, even with like a 3D printer, I think you can make some really cool things with that. That's going to be amazing to be able to play around with. The other one that was sort of more of a functional one that was useful is they had a job training one where you were in a kitchen and you were making something. It was cool to interact with all the different things on the ground, and it gave a good, simulation of what it would be like to actually do something in here rather than just watch a demo. And then the last one, they had a sort of mini Portal demo where, it had the same humor and characters and everything to the game Portal. You couldn't do all that much, but I like that just because of the humor, and they did a good job of the graphics and everything in there. As for sort of pros and cons of it, like I said, it was really cool to be able to use the paddles and everything. The only con, I guess, was that the resolution, I guess there was only 2 of the sensors. Potentially if you have 4, it would give you better coverage, but the resolution was a little choppy with being able to do fine control of the paddles, selecting things. And then this just might have been a calibration error, but at the beginning everything was completely in focus, but then after a while the left side seemed to get just a little off. It might not have been square in my head or something, but I did notice that a little through. But yeah, and then I guess the only other problem I would say with it, which I don't know if they're going to be able to fix this at least anytime soon, but it's having the tethered cables. I felt like the amount of cables was like what gets plugged into you in the Matrix. It's just awkward having that going out of your head and going around, and I was constantly having to be aware of the cables there so I didn't trip over them. And that is one thing I really like about the Samsung VR, which you just plug this in and you're completely free of cables. So it's still early to the development, or actually not even development, like a prototype version, but I'm optimistic that, all of these different things competing together are going to turn into something really cool. What they were saying was that they were going to release this one around the same time Oculus is going to release theirs, which is, I believe, the beginning of this upcoming year. So this stuff's going to be out there soon. Anyway, I'm glad that I got the opportunity to try this out, and the people that were working there were really great also. So thanks guys for letting me give this a shot.